Memphis, Tennessee. And we used to go visit them every week.
Were there a lot of members in the South then?
Oh, no. They just had branches.
Yeah.
And, well, Helena was a branch, and there were maybe 20 people.
Wow. What year was that?
Let me see.
Was that in the 80s?
70.
The 70s?
79 and 80, 82. And then we were half a year in Helena, and then we were in Pine Bluff. And they had a branch, and it was bigger. It had more people.
Were there any African Americans that were members of the church?
Yeah, no, the year we went out, the blacks were just accepted to be members of the priesthood, but we weren't told to seek them out at all. But we sometimes accidentally got to a black person's door, and we gave messages to several, and their rooms were always clean and orderly. But that we just had accepted the gospel. We did as many visits as the elders, but that we usually worked with we had two elders that they lived in Clarksdale, and they'd come over to Helena for church, because there wasn't a branch in Clarksdale. And then they moved to Helena. There was Helena and West Helena, and they were about like Provo and Orem. And Helena was right on the banks of the Mississippi River.
Wow.
And so we
Hey, Grandma, I have another question about when you and Grandpa got married.
yeah.
What was your wedding like? Your wedding day?
Well, we had our reception in my home in Murray. And
Did you have a wedding dress?
yeah, I did.
Did you make it?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I don't know if I've got a picture handy or not. I copied it up. In the Good Housekeeping, Camay Soap had a picture of a bride every month, and I copied one of those dresses, and I bought the veil, but it had a drop waist and a bolero, lace bolero jacket. And we, like I say, our rules, it was wartime and gas rationing, and so the only ones from here that came was Arvel's brothers and his parents, and they didn't give a dinner or anything before, and so we didn't have a dinner, and we just had the reception at my house.
Did you have a wedding cake?
No.
No?
No, let me think. Did I have? In those days, they used to make a fruit cake, wedding cake, and cut it in little pieces like this and wrap it up and give it at your
Oh.
reception.
So you would just give it out to the people who came?
That was part of the refreshments. And then if you took it home and put it under your pillow, you're supposed to dream of your...
You dream of who you were going to marry, right?
Yeah. They don't do that anymore. I've never seen it.
No, they don't, but it's really fun. I think they should.
No, I'm trying to think. I don't think I had a wedding.
And did you go on a honeymoon, or
Yes.
you did?
Yes, we went to Yellowstone.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, that's cool. That must have been beautiful.
Did you stay in the lodge, or did you camp
Oh,
or
no,
stay in the lodge?
We stayed in a cabin.
Stayed in the cabins?
Yeah. That's
And we
fun.
stayed longer than we planned because something went wrong with Arvel's car, and he had to send for a part, and it took a while to get it fixed. But and we ate breakfast and lunch. I think we bought stuff for that. We usually ate supper at the lodge. And I didn't take dishes or pans or things, but I did take some bowls to eat cereal and cups or glasses or something like that. So.
Grandma, when you were little, when you were a little girl, what was your favorite treat? Like, did you have like a favorite candy bar or?
Well, my dad, when he went to shopping, he used to bring us back a Baby Ruth. Or when Milky Ways came in, he brought us a Milky Way. And so they were kind of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I always liked dessert and sweet. That's my downfall. And so I liked anything that was dessert. And I didn't like milk. I lived on a farm, and everybody thought the milk was extra good. That my dad had cows always, but I learned to milk when I went on a special diet to lose weight, and so I formed a habit of drinking milk. I still don't like it. I drink it for my health, and I just drink it and take a bite of something else.
So, Grandma, when did you learn to sew? Who taught you how to sew?
It seems like I sewed early. When I was in the 6th grade, I sewed, and when I was in the 7th, from then on, I sewed nearly all my clothes.
Wow. So when you grew up, it was during the Depression.
Oh, yes.
So you had to be pretty self-sufficient?
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you knew how to sew and how to knit and how to bake and how to cook.
I didn't learn to knit till after I got married.
Okay.
And then and then they didn't have, of course they didn't have the diapers like they have, throwaway diapers.
So you use cloth diapers?
And they knit wool,
You had like little bloomers that went over them?
And so that was the first thing I knit, but when I got it knit, it was big enough to fit me. But then I learned to knit better, and I knit things for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have pictures of Trina in a snowsuit I knit for her, and I sewed doll clothes and by hand, and then I sewed on the sewing machine.
And you taught Alice and Trina how to do those things too.
Well, she taught herself. Alice was the one that did most sewing, but Trina started sewing, and she did just as well, but she hadn't sewed as much as I did. I always enjoyed it. I guess one man meets another's poison.
Did you have were you close with your dad?
Yes,
Yeah.
he used to play with us. Sometimes he'd play hide and seek, and he had this game that he played. You held a blanket, and he said, round and round. Oh, I can't remember. And when I say hold on, let go, and when I say let go, hold on. And so that was a game we used to play in the house.
And your mom died when you were a baby, right?
I was 9 months old.
So your stepmother is the one you remember as being your
That's
mother,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Was she related to your mom at all?
She was her sister.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So she was your aunt.
Yeah,
And also your mom.
That's right.
Did you have a good relationship with her when you
Yeah.
were growing up?
Yeah, she was a good mother, and she had her children. I never thought of them as part sisters. The only time I think of it is when we do genealogy, you know, and they're in a different shade. She had a boy first, and it was born dead, and she saw my mother come and take it.
Oh, wow.
And I think she was always afraid that my mother would come and take Ruth or me, because she always took such good care of us when we got sick. and my aunts, especially my one aunt, I don't know if they all did, but they always said if anything happened, they wanted Ruth. And so, you know, that always made me feel like I wasn't wanted, and I felt like they all felt the same way.
Ruth was your...
She's my older sister,
Uh-huh.
and she kind of remembered, because she was 2.5 when my mother died. But my aunts, if they gave gifts, they gave us the same thing and everything. But anyway.
So when you grew up on the farm, did you have to do a lot of chores?
Oh yeah, we cleaned the chicken coop and gathered eggs, and my dad, he was more a poultry farmer at the first, and so that was, and he raised chickens for the male chickens. He caponized them, and that made them grow heavier, faster for the males. And then the hens he kept to lay eggs, and he had a contest. They had it at Utah State for the best hen layer, and he kept a record of how many eggs the hen laid. He had trap nests, and each chicken had a leg band, and they'd go in the nest, and a string would come over their head, and so we had to go out every so often and take them off the nest. And if they had an egg, we put it down on the chart, and then he'd enter the ones that laid the most eggs in the contest. And he run several trophies with that.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys have cows?
We always had 1 or 2 cows, and that was one thing I had to do, is herd cows.
Did you milk? Did you
I
have
never
to?
learned to milk.
Never learned.
No, never had to milk. And they, my dad had let them out in the alfalfa field in the afternoon, and after school